soap for 5 years every day. Every day, at least a couple times a day. Even when she was reading.
I didn't need to know that, but now that I do, I feel better. Yeah, it's all my ancestors, my family back home, like all the Italians I knew and that I grew up with. Yeah. They were savages.
Yeah, they would have gumars, they call them. Like they take the gumar out on Friday night and the wife out on Saturday.
Did you see that new movie, American Hustle?
I fell asleep.
I heard that movie sucks from so many people.
I don't know.
I fell asleep. I don't know.
Really?
Those people are idiots. Those people are idiots.
I gotta watch it again.
I enjoyed that movie.
I had it at home. They sent it to me. SAG sent it to me.
It's like, oh, are you bragging about the SAG thing?
Yeah, they sent it to everybody. What kind of brag is that?
Well, if it gets bootlegged, we know where it came from. Because Tom Herrera really knows those guys.
No, I had to agree to. I accepted the agreement.
Right. Well, there's a new thing they have now. Somebody told me about online. Where you can get movies as they come out. They cost $500.
Yeah.
And it's like you have like a box in your house, and that box stores a certain amount of movies. Yeah. I'll send you the information. I sent it to the guy who did the AV in this place, my buddy, and he said, yeah, it's legit. He said it's a new thing. It sets up to your house. You can store like X amount of movies. You can have like 10 movies on it at any one time. And they're all in your name, and they don't go anywhere. They just plug it in this box, and you play them on your TV. And each movie costs like $500.
Wow.
Which is weird, man. It's like, that is a lot of fucking money. But I was at the movie theater, I went to see American Hustle, and this couple behind us just kept talking. And it was not very many people in the theater, so they were talking pretty loud because there was no one next to them. And people just don't realize, they probably don't even realize they're being rude because they thought they were far away. But you don't realize how far your voice carries when everybody else is trying to. Yeah, I was just going to say that. I was going to bring that up, and it was really frustrating. But I just dealt with it and watched the movie. I didn't say anything. But a guy got shot in Florida.
A retired cop had a gun on him. He was texting. He wasn't even talking. He was texting.
Texting in the theater, and this cop wound up getting an altercation with him. I mean, that's step one, and then ultimate step 10 or whatever it is he shot him.
Yeah.
Who knows what happened? The cop could have asked him, and he could have gone, fuck you, bitch, or
of course.
Could have gotten crazy,
He's 72 years old or something, too.
Well, maybe he was just ready to die on his own, and he was like, I'm just going to start killing kids until one of them gets me.
That's why I like ArcLight, because not only you can pick your seats, but then if there's somebody that's talking or something, there's like a guy that just pretty much stands in that movie theater that they're on it like that.
Yeah, you're right. There's another place called Cineopolis that's even more dope. They have these giant lounge chairs that you fully recline. They sell food. The food's really delicious, and it's a way better experience. People don't fucking talk. So it might be worth the $500, is my point, to have new movies as they come out. Might be worth it.
What you do is you get the box and you set up a camera in a dark room and you film it, and then we make a DVD of it, and then we sell it to our friends for $20 each and get the $500.
Do you want to go to jail or just retarded? Which one is it?
That was my first line to him first time I did the show.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the way we met. What are you, retarded?
I loved how you handled it. It's beautiful.
How do you handle it?
You.
Oh.
How you handled it when you met him?
Oh, yeah.
Called him what it is.
Well, I think I was right, but I love it.
I don't know if I would pay $500 for a movie, though. That seems like a lot of goddamn money. That seems like, at this point in time, it's like, come on.
Unless you're really annoyed by the public and have that much money, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but the problem is the more you do shit like that, if you can become a hermit, man. You can become a hermit. If you really paid attention to how goofy people are, you could really, at one point in time, force yourself into the mountain somewhere. Just fucking be completely isolated.
Well, you handle it well. You handle it really well. You have a lot of patience.
It's not hard. It's just a bunch of people being nice to you.
But when we're shooting pool and somebody wants to take a picture, that's a little too much.
Well, it gets annoying. That gets annoying when you're in the middle of some obvious activity or when you're eating. Your eating is a dumb one. That's like, come on. I'm sitting with mouthfuls.
They want to shake your hand too.
They want to shake your hand. They want you to come. I've had a lady in Vegas ask me to come over to her. I'm in the middle of eating. I had a mouthful of food. Hi, we're from Canada now. We would like it if you could come over to our table. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm eating. I'm not going to go out. Why would you ask someone? I couldn't imagine going up to someone I didn't know and just ask them to come over our table. We're big fans of
Dom Herrera? Dom Herrera?
He's comedian, right?
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Remember when Bruce Willis first started getting famous back at the Improv in the 80s? And this guy
Like most of his
guests
are comedians. Sometimes he'll have like some intellectual, smart dude, but
and the guy goes, Donna, get the camera. Get the camera in the car, Donna. Like he was holding him hostage, so I took a picture. That's when I first saw it. Any one of my friends get that glimpse of fame and the annoying part of it.
Wow, he just held on to it.
Donna, get the camera, and he's shaking Bruce's hand. Bruce is looking at me like, what am I supposed to do? You can't win. If you pull it away, you fucking punch him, what do you do?
Some people are definitely crazy. Some people are just too excited to meet someone like Bruce Willis, too. It's like, it's not natural.
I don't know what
He's
so
so
excited
excited.
happened.
It's kind of cool. Like, if you see Bruce Willis, like, ooh, that's Bruce Willis. That's, that's the guy from Moonlighting. That's the guy from Die Hard.
Yeah.
That's Bruce Willis. He was in fucking Pulp Fiction.
I always tell people, just enjoy their work.
Yeah.
Enjoy their work, leave them alone, because if they met some people, they'd be such a fucking disappointment to them.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I don't know, man. It's just, some people just aren't used to it. In California, I think way more people are used to seeing famous people.
But yeah,
so
they don't bother you. Yeah, they don't say thank you, I like your work, till after the check is done. So they're not trying to bump up the tip, you know?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that, I'm sure. But California doesn't give a fuck. It's like, if you're famous or not famous, there's so many famous people here, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're a famous person, like say, and you move to Iowa or something like that,
Oh yeah.
that would probably be really weird.
I know that just as a comedian, because in Columbus, Ohio, I get recognized more than I get recognized out here, but I might get recognized, but they don't give a fuck.
Well, you have a big following in Columbus. You know, it's kind of interesting how comics develop followings in one city or another, and I've never really quite understood that. But you know how there is that issue?
Yeah.
Like the best example is that guy Bob Marley.
I love Bob Marley.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Great, salt of the
Such a
earth,
goofball.
sweetheart of a guy. I've known him for 20 plus years. I knew Bob when Bob was an open micer in Maine. He'd come down and do Nick's Comedy Stop, and he would he did a guest set at one of our shows on the road, because he was like the Bangor house comedian at this place. But it's a real sweetheart of a guy, and a very funny guy. But my point is that he's a huge act in Maine.
Yeah.
Like people...
Sells books and albums and
like
culottes.
you might have heard of him. Like most of you, if you're a comedy fan, you might have heard him on Sirius Satellite Radio or seen him on Comedy Central or something like that. But you would have no idea.
Tell me a great story about Billy Crystal. They get into an elevator, him and Butch Bradley. And Billy Crystal was there, and Bob goes, and then Brooke going, hey Billy, nice to meet you, we're comedians. And he just kind of went, like kind of dished him, and ignored him. And Bob says to me, he goes, I didn't know whether to fucking push the stop button and beat the fuck out of him, or just let it go. He said so he let it go.
Wow, Billy Crystal probably stopped being a comedian somewhere along the line.
Oh.
You know what I mean? About stop being a comedian?
Oh yeah.
If you do that, you stop being a comedian.
He was always really nice to me, and then one time I interviewed him and De Niro for this Comedy Central thing. He was real smug and shit, like he turned against me. I was like, De Niro is kind of thick, And I said to him, because he sang when
De Niro's thick in what way?
Thick and mentally, like he's not there, like real quick. I mean, he's a great actor, but that's a whole different story. But De Niro, I said to him, because he sang and analyzed that, and I said, I love your singing. I always loved this. More than anything, I love your singing. Obviously, I'm kidding. I said, you were the definitive Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof. And De Niro goes, oh, thank you.
Oh!
Right? Like, he didn't fucking get it.
He was barely paying attention to you.
And Billy was like, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And Billy was like, kind of snapping at me. I'm thinking, man, Billy, turn on me. I'm another comedian. Just go with it.
I think sometimes a guy like him will get tired of being the center of attention. Because I think also to be that kind of an actor, he's not...
Oh, De Niro?
Yeah. To be that kind of an actor...
Don't you think he's lost some of his legacy, though, by doing these stupid films?
He definitely has. But I'll tell you what, he was in American Hustle, and he's fucking gangster in it.
Yeah.
He's badass.
I love the guy.
He's a very small part, but it's vintage De Niro.
But that's my question. Like, when you work that much, and you have Taxi Driver and Raging Bull in your itinerary, in your resume, where are you going to go from there? I mean, he just wants to work, so he's doing the Fockers and all this stuff. Well,
maybe he enjoys it, though.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. I mean, it's like, he obviously enjoys working,
That's a lot of pressure to be so big that you can't just do medium shit.
True. Well, he put in some of the greatest performances of all time. Cape Fear?
Oh, it's fucking
Jesus Christ,
that
he's fucking terrifying.
When he was in the empty theater with the girl, she put her finger in her mouth.
Yeah.
That was fucking wild.
It was wild. It was a fucking crazy movie. He was one of the scariest guys ever as a menacing guy. And Taxi Driver as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, he always deteriorated. Even in King of Comedy, he got crazier and crazier as the movie went
Yeah,
on.
that's right, King of Comedy. Oh my God, I forgot about
Rupert
that.
Pumpkin.
You know what I saw the other day? I'm gonna have to sit down and watch the whole thing, but I was flipping through the channels and it was on. Was I flipping through the channels or was I whatever? Somehow or another, I was watching a small piece of it. Deer Hunter.
Oh yeah, I was having.
Fucking goddamn, that's a good movie. I had to stop it. I said, I can't start it in the middle here and just watch it from here. I'm gonna come back to this, watch this as a full movie. That movie deserves to be watched as a full movie.
Yeah,
just flip through the channels and catch that.
Not because this is Sons of Italy Day, but to switch to one.
Really?
No, but to switch to one other Italian. Pacino in Dog Day Afternoon. You ever see that?
Fantastic movie. I saw it again last year.
Fucking incredible.
Fantastic movie. Yeah, what a weird plot too.
Oh yeah,
There's a
true.
sex change.
True story.
Yeah, but it like De Niro.
John Casales?
No, who's the? Was that
Pacino.
No, Pacino's buddy. Who's Pacino's
John
buddy?
Casales. Yeah, he was Fredo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He played such a weird, freaky character, and Pacino was so off.
Oh yeah.
It was like it was such a different person. Like this kind of guy who was robbing a bank to pay for a sex change. Like what?
Yeah.
He almost seemed a little too together to be that guy. Almost a little too
When he
together.
went outside, that was where Attica came from. Attica.
That was a big movie, man.
Yeah. I was reading about him because they didn't want to cast him in The Godfather as Michael Corleone. You know who they wanted for it?
Who?
Redford.
Really?
Robert Redford, right.
That's interesting.
And they watched, and so somehow they, Coppola finally got him in. And how great was he in that movie?
Oh, he was
The
spectacular.
transition between Michael and The Godfather.
I think those guys that do those movies, like Pacino and De Niro, Harvey Keitel, and all these like historical actors, after a while, they're just like.